weekly, well, I don't know, should we call it a newscast? I haven't decided on a proper name for this yet.
It's a thing we do on a Sunday.
It is a thing we do on a Sunday, talking about all the new releases and bits and pieces. So, just double check. Yeah, you're working properly. Everything seems to be working properly. I'm almost going to call this one a success without technical issues. Apart from the
Oh, well, you just jinxed it.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, there was a minor amount of running around trying to make sure that my laptop was connected to the streaming PC, so I actually had something in front of me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm normally confused enough, aren't I? I normally can't figure out what things are called or what slide is meant to be showing up next.
You've normally broken something by now.
I've normally broken something, yeah. Okay, so this week... Oh, well, yeah, first off, hi, I'm Ben. And this is also Ben, or Bear. Bear has been doing our painting videos, and I have been running the Instagram. So, yeah, you should probably be running the Instagram, really.
Oh, yeah. Well, I suppose at the moment, as I'm not at work, but there you go.
Well, I've been putting up pictures of the Black Seas. See, I found a way of mentioning Black Seas. And they're really quite popular on Instagram, actually.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start getting up some videos. Start doing sort of some stuff with my Salamanders, because obviously flavour of the month and all that sort of thing at the moment. But at the same time, I've been cracking on with quite a bit of Primaris, so she'll be doing some of that at the moment.
Good stuff. So first thing, it's just coming out is the Star Wars Legion Clone Wars box set. Now, there's few people at our club who play Star Wars Legion. I do like the look of it. I don't know if I'm going to get into it because obviously already play quite a lot of similar style tabletop games. But I did want to have a quick look at some of the models that were in this box set with you, Ben. I think you'll like this.
I'll be honest with you. For playing Star Wars Legion, like, don't get me wrong, Legion looks awesome. And I've played a couple of very, very small bits of Legion. And it was good, and I enjoyed it. But I knew at some point they would have to do something when it comes to, like, the original sort of clone era. So now I'm very interested. Yeah, because who doesn't want to build an army of the 501st, or, you know.
So, droids.
Yes, we like droids. Oddly enough, so my phone has just done a notification and it's just come up with Obi-Wan Kenobi going, "Hello there."
Apparently
perfect timing.
Apparently our audio is a little bit low. Let me turn this up. How's that now? How's the volume now? Well,
it's always a technical issue.
It's fine. You're now sitting right next to your camera. People can see beard chin.
Yeah, I need to shave. My bad.
This is why I've made my picture really small down in the corner. It's nothing to do with letting people see the pictures. It's so people can't see the growing neck beard.
Iron hands.
Well, they can see the growing neck beard anyway. I mean, every time I talk about this subject, you can see neck beardness glowing from me. That and the light shining off my forehead.
Yeah, light shining off mine anyway. Anyway. So, droids. I mean, that General Grievous you've got on the screen right now is awesome. Awesome model.
It is so nice.
But yeah, Clone Troopers. I mean, everyone wants Clone Troopers. And then with extra mats as well. Hoth mats.
Yeah.
Jakku. Sullust as well. Like, those are some awesome mats. Not even just for Legion. I mean, lava mat for me for Salamanders. Thank you very much. Yeah, there's some good stuff there.
Okay, I shouldn't.
Anyway, what did you want to?
I was going to say I shouldn't have even joked about having issues because I'm not going to talk about the fact that I've just had issues with my slide box again.
Standard.
every time, apart from last time where we had no issues with the slides. All right, let me see if it now goes past the first one. It's now not going past anything. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to try opening the file again. I think it's because I set it up earlier and I didn't select it after I'd sorted everything out.
It's just, we will be back with you once these technical difficulties have been sorted.
It's not my fault. Right. That one. No, it's stuck on a loop again. Right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll do what I did last time, and I'll delete stuff out. I wonder if it's hitting the spinning Grievous and getting locked on that. I think that's what's happening.
Well, it needs to start looking at these Phase 1 clone troopers.
Yeah.
Because these clone trooper models are fantastic with some really lovely looking poses. Obviously, a sergeant who's got a pointing hand, running clone troopers, and standing and shooting.
Rob says, I think he's referring to either my neckbeardiness or hello Slugsalter _vegan. Welcome to the chat. And and is that Vince? Vince is saying one of us is useless. I'm not sure which one. Probably me.
Yeah, it's probably Ben. Other than. Yeah, so I'm quite liking these. I might end up with a small. I say small. It won't be small. We all know what I'm like.
Well, the starting we're both useless. Thanks, Vince.
Whoa.
Thanks. Yeah, the starter box I think has this in. It's a split force. I was reading the contents earlier, and it looked like it was 2 sets of the troopers, and if it's going to let me pass this, I think it's this. I think it's the spinning images. Thank you.
Stop the spinning images.
Let's delete that one.
So the starter set comes with 39 unpainted and highly detailed miniatures, as the blurb says. You get Obi-Wan Kenobi. Awesome. General Grievous, each pose with lightsabers at the ready. So, yeah. 2 squads of Phase 1 clone troopers. 5 with DC 15A blasters.
Okay. There's the clone troopers up on the screen now.
2 with the Z6 rotary blaster cannons and a DC 15 blaster rifle. A speeder as well, which is quite nice. 2 squads of B1 battle droids and a unit of 2 droid decars.
I know. Awesome. I want the droids actually. Normally it would be the clone troopers because it's the I was saying Steve just beforehand. It's the Battlefront thing. My brother always used to play droidica, and he'd come flying around the corner, and I'd be the jump pack one with the EMP grenades. You could knock out their shields and shoot them. Yeah. Good times.
They've got, I mean, even for the droid models, they've actually got them in wheelie mode, and then once they reach their destination, come out and shoot everything to death mode.
Nice.
So yeah, that's
There's Kenobi for you, spinning around.
Definitely some very, very nice models. They always end up doing some really nice models for this.
Although we did have the weird pose Vader, which I liked the pose, but considering some of the other poses, it could have been a little bit.
Yeah.
So now we're on. Oh God, I shouldn't be allowed to touch any of this stuff as I'm shrinking the screen. Bear with me. Right.
On to Space Marines.
Space Marines. So, do you want to get your Primaris Marines around the board quickly?
What, with the floaty rhino with the 4+ invulnerable save, which the bigger tank with the repulsor or the executioner doesn't get. Mind blown.
So, 14-inch movement in comparison to the repulsor's 10. I like that.
Or 2 when it's lost lots of wounds.
Sorry,
and you might as well go, oh, it doesn't move anymore.
Are you talking about dropping brackets? Because I'm pretty sure it's only wounds 1 or 2 that my guys would lose a bracket.
Anyway, moving on from your Iron Hand, I'll keep the words friendly to children.
One of the big reasons I do actually quite like this model. Now, I'm not too keen on the floaty tanks for Space Marines, but I do like the look of them. It's just part of me grates. It's the old fluff thing. Like, I love my rhinos and my razorbacks, and this thing is just jamming something that I don't want anywhere near me.
I found a spare rhino, so I'm going to give it a go trying to convert one into one of these tanks. Without it looking so very floaty.
I reckon, maybe the engines off the Storm Talon on the side there?
Well, I wasn't thinking floaty.
Well, no, not floaty, but just to give it the side bulk that one's got.
Yeah, potentially.
Either way...
I'm thinking more I just have an really open top rhino.
Yeah. Really, for me, the thing I liked about this is that, you know, when we were talking about it actually, it was our last game together. It's the putting the guy who's in the tank, or the sergeant who's in for the squadron tank on top of the tank. You can do it with this model, and it will look right because it's got that bay at the back.
Yeah, it will look right as if, oh yeah, look, the sergeant is being transported. The rest of the unit, however, anyway.
Vince says
scaling is
put it on a
not something that we should probably jump onto.
Is it, Vince, you say put it on a flying base. Are we talking about putting a rhino on one of the really little stands that these things come with, or do you want to put it on an actual flying stand, on a flying base?
Oh god, no, not on a... Oh, what, on like one of the, on like a Storm Talon flying stand?
Yeah, I think we could put a Land Raider on there and count it as a Storm Raven, couldn't we?
Oh god, we're supposed to be reviewing things, not coming out with stupid ideas.
Right, before we continue on this one, I am going to start a poll, because this is one that's quite close to your heart. So
it's not just close to my heart. It's just I just don't get why they pick and choose it this way.
Yeah, I don't know either, man. So when Vince says on a land speeder base. I mean, it might be a little bit higher rhino on a land speeder base, but
yeah.
So on the dice issue, so the Ultramarines and the White Scars, they both came out with faction-specific dice. But Salamanders, Iron Hands, pretty much everything else since, was it Raven Guard and Imperial Fists, don't appear to be coming out with any faction-specific dice.
Well, this is the thing. It's if they are, they're taking time to bring them out, which is a bit stupid because obviously as a company you would want to get the demand for those dice when those new things drop that are specific to, you know, oh look, there's a new codex for Salamanders. Here, have some dice as well. Like, yes, I shall buy the dice as well as this. Instead of at a later stage going, oh yeah, here's a random moment where there's a load of dice. It's a bit, but if you look at, it really boggles my mind how they only brought them out for Ultramarines and then bring them out for White Scars.
Yes,
but
it was.
You haven't gone
was
for
the
Raven
first...
Guard. You haven't gone for Iron Hand, Salamanders, and Imperial Fists.
So anyone in the Twitch chat, I put a poll up. Would you buy dice for your faction? Quite literally, exclamation mark, vote, and then space yes or no. I'm mixed feelings. I think we were kind of discussing this a little bit before we went live. I think because of the number of factions I'm playing, I would have a silly number of dice. I quite like.
Yeah, but we're wargamers. We all have a silly number of dice. It's nice to have a set of dice that you go, right, these are the dice I use for this army.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. I mean, not everybody, you know, will want them. But, I mean, they can bring up some really nice dice.
Fallon has made a good point. She's voted yes, and she said only if they're good. Now,
don't get me wrong. No, I agree with her on that one. Nurgle dice.
The Death Guard
ones.
Dice. I hate them.
Oh. Like, oh yeah, by the way, here's some plastic that is filled with rubber that probably is not going to be bouncing around anyway. I mean, I get what Vince is saying, obviously, yes, but Space Wolves already have some. Yeah, they had them when they come out. That's what I'm saying.
Vince, if you want to vote...
The dice came out when the faction.
If you want to vote, see how Fallon's done it. Because you put exclamation mark vote and then space yes. Not stupid glow-in-the-dark shenanigans. I like the glow-in-the-dark ones.
Well, to be fair, I do have two of the Army of the Dark. Army of the Dark, Army of the Dead. Sets of the dice. And to be fair, I was using them the other day, actually. Granted, I wasn't using them for playing war games, I was using them to play Monopoly against Amy. But they rolled really nice. They've got that nice sort of corner point on them and everything like that. And they bounce really well. So
Martin in the YouTube chat has also said, because he can't vote because it's only in the Twitch chat, but he said he also has his Space Wolves dice and he would never part with them. So I think the majority of people are on your side on this one, that they like their faction dice.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like, dice are dice at the end of the day. For the most part, there are some dice that GW brought out that are just... I don't want to say the word, because I try and keep it nice on here, but yeah, it's... The faction-specific dice, it's just one, for GW sake, it's a case of, oh look, there's an extra, however much you're going to charge for dice these days, which seems to be a lot of the time. But at the same time, for us, it's like, yeah, we just make your army just feel that little bit more personal.
Well, you know,
obviously, there's going to be scalpers and everything. But...
Yeah. Well, you know me, I buy dice that suit the colour of the army.
Yeah.
And then use them with the wrong army, and then they betray me horribly. But, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you have specific dice, because you go, oh, I'm going to use these corn dice whilst I'm playing Zeech. Oh, look, I have failed.
No.
It gives you that sort of thematic sort of...
it's corn. You wouldn't fail everything. You just fail to do any psychic powers. You'd still kill everyone.
Yeah, okay.
You would have the best close combat Zeech army ever.
Yeah. Right, I think we've spoken about dice a lot.
We've spoken about dice a lot. We'll move on. So we also have very very quick run through the upgrades on the Impulsor. So you've got the shield dome because for up in Vuns, so nice right now. Rob's decided to come across onto Twitch chat.
Yeah.
You've also got the comms array. Now this is the one that it's the same points as the shield dome, so I'd probably stick with the shield dome just for survivability. From the Iron Hands and Death.
Why would you not have the shield dome? Yeah. A 4+ inflammable save on a floaty tank that moves 14 inches.
With it's got the -2-inch charge bubble on it, like the repulsor as well, which is really nice. I was saying I'd use them as screens. Just because they're harder to kill, they're harder to charge. Iron Hail Sky Talon Array, shooting at things with fly, and the Catus Missile Array, which I quite like because it's got all the different missiles on there, and it's actually designed to show all the different missiles on it.
Yeah, I don't like it as a flat thing. I might have produced it as more of a, I don't know, sort of
triangle.
Because it's a lot less bulky. But then again, I suppose Space Marines are all about being bulky as hell. But yeah, I mean, it's not bad.
Alright, let's have a Here we go.
Just what Tech Marine didn't think. Do you know what? We've got that on that tank. Why don't we just pop it off? You know, crowbar it off, jimmy it off, and then move it and put it onto this tank. But a Land Raider with a 4+ invulnerable save. Who wouldn't want that? Oh,
This is sounding pretty much like tech heresy. I think I'm going to have to talk to my
if they're able to bring out like all these new Space Marines and all these new tanks and everything, that's tech heresy.
That's why my guys seeded from the Imperium. Anyway.
Yeah, I like these models. These models are cool.
Yeah, so we got the what was it? The Infiltrators and the Incursors. I lose track. There's lots and lots of new names for I don't know what Rob was.
Calm down, Rob. Calm down. Anyway.
Yeah, so we've got the two new. It's the same kit. I think they look really nice. I like these ones better. The Incursors. Incursors?
He's throwing a knife. That's cool as.
Yeah. And the stupidly oversized sensors on top of the bolt guns as well, and the ones on top of the head as well. Just everything about them.
Yeah. Well, I quite like their armor as well, so it works. But he's throwing a knife, so I'm gonna have to get me some.
So,
Yes, Vince. Yes, Vince. Definitely, Vince.
What was it? Next year we'll release a Primate.
Yeah, loads of heresy, but heresy's great. That's fine.
So yes, the next bit, and I don't know why that's shown up. I've lost a slide. I lost the slide? I think I have lost the slide. Oh, that's upsetting. I shouldn't have lost the slide. What? Oh well.
Sort out your technical difficulties on your own time, not on these lovely people's time.
Okay. So, other big thing that's been on pre-order yesterday, obviously the Salamanders and the Imperial Fists, and I had a lovely piece of art from the Warhammer community, which I've lost now. Also, I'm just going to move out the way of the rules here as well, because my head is straight across the top of it. I say is then I can't read the chat, so there we go. So yeah, the only things that I'm sticking out with this, because we covered them pretty heavily last week, is their equivalent of the Doctrine rules, so their Doctrine bonus.
Yep.
So Imperial Fist, Legacy of Dawn, Devastator Doctrine, which is quite powerful, same as Iron Hands, it's happening right off the bat. Heavy weapons, again, so attacks with heavy weapons do an additional 1 damage to vehicles and buildings. I'd say that's quite big. I mean, we've been already talking about how strong stuff like the Rapier Core Bolters are.
Yep.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
No Black Templars, but let's face it, they're going to be coming out.
Oh yeah,
they'll probably have their own book, their own supplement.
Just because I don't know how to do it yet, there was going to be, if I had the ability to do it, there is a video which is showing off like the Black Templar symbol, so they are almost certainly next, probably tied in with the beginning of the oh, I've got the name of it now. Ben, help! It's the new campaign.
I don't know what you're on about.
Okay, don't worry. We'll move on. We'll talk about Salamanders. We'll talk about Salamanders. And while we talk about Salamanders, I will try and look up. So there you go. There's your piece of art for the Salamanders.
I'm not seeing it.
Oh, you missed it now.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, well, I don't know. We spoke about things when it comes to them, and I was gonna do a little a review video of my own anyway. When it comes up to him, but yeah, I quite like. I mean, there's a lot of their rules are very, very fluff. Yeah. You have to spend a lot of command points. You have to do a lot of certain things that would be very Salamander like styled. So it's, you know, it's a very, very good book, and you know, the characters are not overly expensive. They're good for what they do. They're not fantastic. Don't get me wrong. There's, you know, a few other characters who are a bit like more savage, like the Imperial Fist guy. He is, yeah, his power fist is insane. But I quite like the whole fact that I get extra power to flamers and melters and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Still, there's all the other armies out there, Gene Steelers and what else, who have better flamers in the long run, literally. But yeah, I like them. They're very good. They're pretty strong as well. To be fair, there's a lot of the videos that I've watched with people who already got the codex and stuff. They're saying that they're pretty high up when it comes to like tier wise, I suppose.
Yeah, I definitely even without the rest of the information, I've just been coming up with a couple of little combos and fluffier combos than the one I was talking about the other day. It's okay. It's the combination of this with the chaplain. It's the right something like Cataclysm of Fire, which makes the beginning of the battle round. You pick a unit within 6 inches of the chaplain, and then whatever that unit is closest to in the shooting phase, it gets +1 to wound against.
Yeah.
So your flamethrowers become +2 to wound in the tactical, and melters as well. It's just.
Yeah, just I have to get close to things, but you know.
With the chaplain,
that's the nature of the game.
The chaplain would need to be close to you as well, so you just set it up so that everything benefits from the same setup. So the chaplain's +1 is going to help something. So with my Imperial Fists random army, for example, the chaplain's +1 to wound worked quite nicely on the Land Raider. You just need to move the Land Raider into a position where the closest target is not going to want to be shot by las cannons that are wounding on +1. Yes.
Yeah.
Filth. Okay, so we did a lot of Salamanders Imperial Fists last week, so we will move on now.
As I say, I'll do a video anyway when I'm going through doing all my videos for my Salamanders.
So, Age of Sigmar, newest faction. Our latest view on some of the new models. So
he's like a mini, Nagash, isn't he? Really?
Yeah. Well, that's it. The hat is very fitting.
It's like Nagash, but in his teens. Very much, yeah, it is all about the legs on that model. Mm-hmm. It is very much all about the legs.
And I think, yes, it is like a skull on the back with a little wispy bone goatee.
Oh dear.
Should I not be allowed to describe things?
It's like a weird, like.
And
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice model. Like from what I remember, this is the army that Ian is going to be doing, isn't it?
Ian, I know Sam was talking about it as well. So maybe more than one. I tell you what, this would be a really nice one to do with the airbrush. Contrast paints. Do the Oh, Rob's saying he thinks they look quite cool. Thinking about getting into AOS. You should get into AOS. AOS is really fun.
Yeah.
I say this as the person who just got more demons and just banned them in AOS instead. Which are now demons. So yeah.
Several are not demons. Anyway, moving on. We have many things to discuss and we've already gone through lots of things.
Yeah. So, the Forgeworld pre-orders for Friday. we have some lovely little scattered terrain for Titanicus. And I say scattered terrain because if you look in the next picture, you will see how big it is. Yeah. I think...
Yeah, well, it's not exactly as if it's going to be 40k size. But yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to block line of sight. It's not going to... It's going to maybe get in the way a little bit. I mean,
not built like that, it's not. You could probably put that up on top of some of the existing buildings.
That's what I would do. I would use that stuff to make some of the old building range, I think it's Civitas Imperialis, look more like an AdMech setup. But yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be one of the few Titanicus things I don't buy. Just because...
No, because you're waiting for the next stuff.
I am waiting for the next stuff, the stuff that's pre-order next week, which is fantastic segue.
You're waiting for all these bits and pieces that have fists and missiles and... Do you know, those, I must admit, right, those melters, they do make me laugh. The melters that are going to go onto your knight, how tiny are those parts?
Oh,
like, they're just so stupidly small and insignificant. I would literally just not even bother with them and just stick with the stuff that's on there already.
Yeah, it's... I probably... I'm not sure, right? I might chop down a few bits and pieces, but as I was, again, saying before we started, I am going to get the... I'm going to get this, but I'm probably going to get it in this. So they're bringing out another Questoris Knight pack with it already wrapped into it. And I need a few more knights for my Knight House, so that's probably how I'm going to get those upgrades. And yes, Rob, I would also be up for giving you a game of Sigmar before you spend out.
I'll bust out some Seraphon.
Yeah.
I would say that those the upgrade there of that. I mean, it's not overly fussed in the melter, as I've already said, but that's probably what, 15 quid as a clan pack.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out. Well, we'll find out officially next week.
Yeah, but how much are the knights anyway? They're like what, 30 quid for 3 or something?
I think they might be a bit cheaper than that. Without mentioning the name of the store that I always go to, there's about 25% discount on most of the Titanica stuff I've ever bought. Yeah, I think I would rather buy more knights with the upgrades wrapped in them, as long as the knights themselves don't have an inflated price because they've got the upgrades wrapped in them. Which they
well, I would say that the box set would probably be like 35 quid, maybe.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see next week. Also next week, Aeronautica.
Yeah.
Heavy bombers.
Yeah, I must admit I quite like that aircraft.
Yeah,
it's quite cool.
I am suffering from a real need. We already have Blood Red Skies. We don't need another game, but I want them.
Yeah, if
as Rob says, all the DACA.
Yes, all the DACA. If they bring out Space Marines, I will jump on the Aeronautica. Yeah. For definite.
Little Xiphon interceptors would be awesome. And Thunderhawks.
Storm Talons.
Storm Talons, yes.
Be cool. Just have a squadron of Storm Talons and just.
So, the biggie next week.
Oh, back to
Feast of Bones.
Yeah. It's like ogre models you can already buy.
Well, there is
with...
Isn't the character in there that looked new? Or am I going insane?
The character is new. Yeah, he was shown ages ago as like, oh, look at this thing that's coming.
Yeah. But this at least it's the lead-in for the Bonereapers, isn't it? It's the start of their release, really.
Yeah.
There you go. There are the ogres. I have a set of those, the main battle line ogres, because I chop them up and turn them into renegade ones. In fact, I got a second one and turned them into noble ones, which I have yet to paint. Really do want to paint, and I think contrast paint would be a good choice. So I might have to do that soon. Maybe on a painting stream. Then you've got the Bonereaper half.
See, now that's quite nice because that's. Oh, excuse me. That's like loads of models that you don't already have. I mean, granted, okay, I forgot what their names are at the back. But yeah, you can already buy those. But like, I quite like the General Grievous look-alike guys in the middle, and then Skeleton Warriors, who probably aren't Skeleton Warriors.
No, I did see their name earlier, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But they are a really nice Skeleton Warrior. It's not the if someone blew in its direction, it would turn back into bones and dust. That is a solid looking Skeleton Warrior.
Yeah, pretty chunky. They're pretty nice. Yeah. I think it's a worthwhile box set, that's for sure. There's a lot of value that would be in that box. That's definite. I mean that Ogren is awesome. Or Ogre even, not Ogren.
I like that they really have kept the Ogre aesthetic as well. Because that Ogre box set, having, like I said, I've built a few of them recently, it is quite an old kit. But they've managed to keep the feel of that kit with that character.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's well, they haven't really had an update for a while, have they, Ogres? So that's really nice. Ties in really well.
So getting the battle tome going on pre-order next week, which is nice. We'll start to see some rules and see how. Well, I mean, we've seen it a little bit, but we'll start to see how they properly work, which will be good. There's definitely something I find with Sigmar is armies do play a little bit more how you'd expect them to.
Yeah.
The usual bits and pieces, the cards for them, and then you've got the Ogre More Tribes book coming out, and again, Hart, some scenery for them.
So you're not putting up anything to do with some rolly things.
I waited.
See, it goes back to the thing from earlier. Like, why bring out a faction and then not bring out dice? Anyway, those are really cool dice. I really like those dice, to be fair.
Yeah. And I think I might have got to the bottom of why some of these images didn't appear. So I'm going to stick them right at the end, just so that we can have a quick look at them.
Newsflash. Things that we missed.
There you go. Lord of the Rings rule card packs.
So yeah, they're GW doing things to my wallet again when I am poor. Because these would actually, for those of us who play Lord of the Rings, these would actually be really quite helpful. The same sort of thing as what you get for Age of Sigmar at the moment. You get your little profile and obviously all that on them. I don't think they specifically come with rules and stuff on them, which is not only that much of a problem, to be fair, because the rules are quite easy to find as well, to be fair. But yeah. I quite like.
Thank you, Rob.
What's that?
Rob started following.
Yeah, I quite like the idea of these. They will make playing games a lot easier, I think, in the long run.
Yeah, well, okay, it might just be that I haven't played that much, but there are definitely quite a lot of times where I've gone, how do my Eastlings play again? Ben, can I borrow the book?
Yeah.
Like, all the time.
Yeah,
but
it's just to have, like, because I mean, with Lord of the Rings, you don't have huge, vast amounts of models and huge, vast amounts of different stuff. You know, if you have, for argument's sake, going with those elves and dwarves profile cards in the middle set there, if you have, say, high elves, and you go, oh yeah, well, I've got a high elf who's got a sword, and I've got a high elf with sword and shield, I've got high elf with bow, high elf with spear and shield. You're like, okay, they all come under one profile. They're not separate models. So it's literally just, it's this model, and then you can just go, oh, well, he's got a shield, so he's got this bonus. He's got a bow, so he's doing this or this.
Yeah.
So they don't have to be massive cards. So those cards are actually, I think they're quite small as well, aren't they? They're not huge. They're only about sort of A4.
See you, Rob.
So yeah.
Yeah,
see you later.
We'll see you Tuesday for. Well, you're playing Heresy as well, aren't you?
He's probably got on, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, well worthwhile. Have you got the bit that goes with them?
Or? Card sleeves.
Everyone loves card sleeves when you buy expensive cards. For definite.
Oh god, yeah, yeah. It's such a nice addition to it.
Yeah. Being specific ones for the game as well, it's quite good. You know, but you could probably buy cheaper ones elsewhere.
Yeah. I can't see what size they are now. I'll look it up later. If they're the same style as the Fantasy Flight ones, the ones that everyone used for X-Wing, or are they or are they bigger cards? I'm guessing they're bigger cards because they're probably.
Pretty sure they are bigger cards.
Right. Let's do these last things. There you go. So the Imperial Fists picture has now shown up. Such a nice picture.
Oh, look at that.
I mean,
Corn demons getting smashed in the face.
Yeah, being particularly rude. I mean, what would that have gone? What would have the Bloodletter have ever have done to him? I mean, really.
Everything.
Yeah. Well, no, he's not Slanesh. Right, whatever picture that was didn't show up, and it's gone back to the beginning. I think the last pictures. I'm just going to try and kick it into shape and get these last pictures to show up because there is a really cool piece of scenery for the Bonereapers, which was one of the slides that hasn't shown. There we go.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that the little temple thing?
That is really nice. If that's the same scale, no. I don't think it can be, but then that might just be me.
Same scale of what?
I'm thinking the Storm Vault. But, bearing in mind those steps at the bottom, that is one of the Storm Vault pieces of terrain. If that's the same scale as that for the steps, that's going to be huge.
Oh dear. Yeah, to be fair, I agree with her. But yeah, I'm sure it'll be the same scale. It's not going to be an off scale. It'll be the same sort of thing because they've obviously changed the way that they're doing certain different scale types and stuff now. So it's
well, it wouldn't be the first piece of terrain that's huge. I mean, you look at the Chaos Keep.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think they're great.
Right, let's see if they're. There we go. There was the last picture that wouldn't show up. I just thought, it would be suitable to show those right at the end.
Yeah,
Should we
triggered.
should we see how the poll did?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was a resounding yes, to be fair. And there was, well, it was a lot of Rob talking. I appreciate everyone else who has been talking as well.
Yeah.
We seem to have had a few more viewers today, so
We are doing quite well for the viewers.
thumbs up with that. Thank you very much. We appreciate
Thank you,
it.
people. Yeah, so I have completed the poll, and funnily enough, 100% of people would prefer to be able to get dice for their faction. So
Yeah.
it's just me being picky, isn't it? So
Yeah. I mean, granted, my argument was more the fact of why bring dice out ages after the original release of the new faction or whatever. But at the same time, yes, of course I want Salamander dice. You know, and obviously there was that picture that had the White Skulls dice that had the Salamander logo wrapped around it.
yeah,
So one would hope.
I should have put that in the slides of the final slide, shouldn't I? That would have been.
Yeah.
Where
Just
are my
like
dice?
here's the teeth. Ugh.
All right. Well, that's everything.
No Kickstarter this weekend.
No. Like I said last time, the Kickstarter requires a certain level of research to one, make sure it's something decent, and two, for me to actually understand what they're selling. And a lot of the ones that I really like the look of are board games. And yeah, if people want to suggest Kickstarters, go for it. Send us a message on any of our on any of the platforms that we're on.
Facebook's one of the easiest ones, isn't it, really?
Facebook is one of the easiest ones. Obviously, I spend an inordinate amount of time playing around on Instagram just because I like to take pictures of little ships and cotton wool.
Right.
It's fine. It's fun. When I give you your bits, you'll be the same.
Yeah, I know.
Oh. Okay. So, do you wanna tell people where they can find out news from us?
Well, I think they know because we cover it. But yeah, join us on our Facebook group, on Instagram, YouTube, obviously here on Twitch. I say here on Twitch because I'm watching Twitch, not the YouTube one now. Yeah, and just join us on there. If you've got anything you want, or you've got any suggestions for changes of things, if you've got any sort of suggestions on things you want to see, potentially like painting things or games and stuff like that. I know at some point me and Farah are going to have a game. We're going to do some Salamanders when I get the new book up against some Necrons. And I have been doing some, bear with me, rebasing of certain aspects. So I've tried to now make sure that all of my Salamanders have some nice larva bases and finishing off certain things that I started on streams. So yeah, and as I say, currently on the work in progress of a certain Vulcan headstand in Primaris mode. I'm trying to make a green stuff cloak for him. But yeah, it's been a while since I've actually worked with green stuff properly, so it's more of a learning curve. But yeah, so join us on all of those. YouTube for definite. Subscribe, like our videos.
Yeah, that's it. Subscribe and like our videos on YouTube. Join us on Facebook and Instagram for the news. So whenever we're going to stream anything, we stick it on there. And please come and follow us on Twitch because it's a lot more fun in Twitch chat.
Yeah, does seem to be.
Yeah.
No trolls this week, so that's a good one.
Okay.
But
well,
yeah,
thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next week, if not sooner.